Ethan was a young man from Earth, living far away from his home. He had come to the planet Eloria as part of a peace program. Humans and Elorians were learning to work together, and every year a few young people from Earth got to visit Eloria. Ethan was one of them this year. He felt proud but also a little bit lonely sometimes. Eloria was beautiful and strange. The sky was always a soft blue, with 2 moons that glowed at night. The air smelled sweet, like flowers. The people of Eloria had pale blue skin, shining eyes, and gentle voices. They wore long, flowing clothes, and they moved gracefully, as if they were always dancing. Ethan lived at the Earth Embassy, a safe place for humans on Eloria. He went to lessons every day to learn the Elorian language and customs. The food was different and the rules were new, but he tried his best to fit in. Some days were easy, but other days he missed his friends and family back on Earth. One evening there was a big event at the Royal Palace. All the important people from both worlds were invited. Ethan wore a simple suit, trying to look smart, but he felt nervous. He looked at his reflection in the mirror and hoped he would not say anything wrong tonight. The palace was bigger than any building Ethan had ever seen. The walls sparkled with light, and the floors were so clean he could see his own face. There were tables full of strange but delicious food. People from both Earth and Eloria stood in small groups, talking and laughing. Ethan took a deep breath and walked inside. He did not know many people yet, so he stood quietly in a corner, sipping a blue drink. He watched the Elorians with interest. They seemed so calm and friendly, but he was still a little afraid of making a mistake. Suddenly, someone spoke to him. He turned and saw a girl about his age. She had long silver hair, skin like pale moonlight, and bright blue eyes that seemed to glow in the soft light. She wore a simple dress, but it was clear from the way everyone looked at her that she was important. "Hello," she said, her voice soft and kind. "You must be Ethan. I am Lyra." Ethan felt his heart beat faster. He remembered that Princess Lyra was the daughter of the Elorian queen. He tried to remember his Elorian words and bowed politely. "Hello, Lyra," he said. "It is nice to meet you." Lyra smiled. She did not look proud or cold. She looked curious, as if she really wanted to know him. "I am glad you are here. I have never met a human before. Is it true you come from a world with only 1 moon?" Ethan smiled back, feeling a little more relaxed. "Yes, only 1. It is big and white, but sometimes it looks yellow." Lyra's eyes grew wide. "That sounds lovely. I like to watch our moons at night. Sometimes I wonder what it is like to look at the stars from Earth." Ethan was surprised by how easy it was to talk to her. She asked about Earth, about his family, and about what he missed the most. He told her about pizza, snow, and how people in his hometown liked to play soccer in the park. Lyra listened carefully, her face bright with interest. Soon they were laughing together. Lyra tried to say some Earth words, and Ethan helped her. He told her a funny story about his dog, and she told him about a small pet bird she had when she was a child. The more they talked, the more Ethan forgot he was far from home, but not everyone in the room was happy to see them together. Ethan noticed a group of young Elorians watching him. They whispered to each other and looked at Lyra with surprise. Some seemed a little jealous. Ethan wondered if he had made a mistake by talking to the princes for so long. After a while, Lyra noticed, too. She leaned closer and whispered, "Do not worry about them. Sometimes people here do not understand new things. I like to learn. That is why I wanted to meet you." Ethan nodded, feeling grateful. He realized that even though Lyra was a princess, she also wanted friends. She wanted to know about other worlds and other ways of life. Before the night ended, Lyra asked Ethan if he would show her some Earth customs. He laughed and showed her a handshake. She tried it and giggled. Then she showed him a small Elorian bow, which he tried to copy. They both laughed at his awkward movement. When it was time to leave, Lyra thanked him. "I hope we can talk again," she said softly. Ethan smiled. "Me too." He walked back to the embassy that night with a strange, happy feeling in his chest. He had come to Eloria as a visitor, but now he felt like maybe he could be a friend too. From his window, Ethan watched the 2 moons rise above the palace. He thought about Lara and the way she had listened to him. He wondered if she would really want to talk to him again. He hoped so. That night he dreamed of home and of new adventures. He did not know what would happen next, but he felt a little less lonely than before. He did not see that in her own room. Princess Lyra was looking out at the stars, thinking of Ethan and the stories he had told her. For both of them, something new was beginning, something they did not yet understand, but both wanted to discover. Ethan woke up early the next morning, feeling hopeful. The memory of his talk with Princess Lyra was still fresh in his mind. He ate breakfast quickly and hurried to his lessons at the embassy. All day, he kept thinking about Lyra and wondered if he would see her again. He tried to pay attention to his teacher, but it was hard to focus when he kept remembering her bright blue eyes and gentle voice after his lessons. Ethan took a walk through the embassy gardens. The flowers here were unlike any on Earth. Some of them glowed softly, lighting up the green paths even as the sun began to set. Ethan liked the peace of the garden. It was a quiet place where he could think. He was walking slowly when he heard a voice call his name. He turned and saw Princess Lyra waiting by a tall tree. She wore a simple blue dress and her silver hair was braided. She smiled when she saw him. "Hello, Ethan," she said. "I hope I am not disturbing you." Ethan shook his head. "You are not disturbing me. I am glad to see you." Lyra walked beside him, and together they followed a winding path. She asked him more questions about Earth. She wanted to know about the seasons, what winter felt like, and if Ethan had ever seen snow. Ethan told her about snow days and how he and his friends used to build snowmen. He described how the world looked white and soft after a snowstorm. Lyra listened carefully, her eyes wide with wonder. "We do not have snow here," she said. "It sounds magical," Ethan smiled. "It is cold, but it is beautiful." They walked for a while without speaking, just enjoying the garden. Then Lyra said, "May I ask something else?" Ethan nodded. "Do you miss your family?" Lyra asked quietly. Ethan looked down for a moment. "Yes, I do. I miss them every day. But I know I am here for a reason. I want to learn and make new friends." Lyra smiled. "I think you are very brave. Sometimes I feel lonely, even here at home." Ethan was surprised. "You have so many people around you." Lyra shook her head. "It is not the same. People are kind, but sometimes they only see me as a princess, not as Lyra." Ethan understood what she meant. Sometimes people only saw him as the human visitor, not as Ethan. Lyra changed the subject. "Would you show me more about your world?" Ethan thought for a moment. "I can show you how to play a simple game. It is called catch." He found a small round fruit in the garden and showed her how to throw it and catch it. At first, Lyra was shy, but soon she was laughing and trying to catch the fruit. They played for a while, forgetting everything else. A few Elorian children walked by and watched with surprise, but soon they wanted to join in. The garden filled with laughter. Later, as the sun went down, Lyra and Ethan sat under the tree to rest. Lyra looked at the sky and asked, "Do you think humans and Elorians can be good friends?" Ethan nodded. "I think so. We are different, but we can learn from each other." Lyra smiled. "I hope more people think like you." The next day, Lyra found Ethan at the learning center. She brought him a small book with pictures of Eloria's animals and plants. She wanted to teach him about her world. Just like he had taught her about Earth. They spent hours together looking at the book. Lyra explained the names of each creature, and Ethan repeated them, sometimes getting the words wrong and making Lyra laugh. He liked the way she laughed. It made him feel happy and comfortable. Their time together was not always easy. Some young Elorians did not like that Lyra was spending so much time with a human. A few of them whispered when Ethan walked by. One day, as he left the learning center, a tall Elorian boy called out to him, "Why do you think the princess wants to talk to you?" The boy said with a sneer. Ethan tried to walk away, but the boy and his friends blocked his path. "Go back to your own world," one of them said. Ethan felt his face grow hot, but before he could answer, Lyra appeared. She looked at the boys with calm eyes and said, "Do not speak to my friend like that. He is my guest and deserves respect." The boys were surprised and stepped back. Lyra took Ethan's hand and led him away. "Thank you," Ethan said, his voice quiet. Lyra smiled. "I do not like bullies. You are my friend, and I am proud to know you." After that day, the whispers did not bother Ethan as much. He knew that Lyra was on his side. Their friendship grew stronger. They started meeting every day, sometimes in the gardens, sometimes in the library, and sometimes just walking through the city. Lyra loved asking questions about Earth. She wanted to know what it felt like to swim in the ocean, to ride a bike, or to watch a movie. Ethan tried to explain everything as simply as he could. He even drew pictures to help her understand. One day, Lyra brought Ethan to a special place. It was a high tower in the palace, with windows that looked out over the whole city. She showed him the view and said, "This is my favorite place. When I feel sad, I come here and look at the stars." Ethan stood beside her and looked at the sky. The stars were different from those on Earth, but they were just as beautiful. Lyra turned to him and said, "Thank you for being my friend." "Ethan, you make me feel less alone," Ethan smiled. "You make me feel less alone, too." As the days passed, Ethan and Lyra spent more and more time together. They shared stories, played games, and learned from each other. They both felt something new growing between them, a feeling that was more than just friendship, but neither of them was ready to speak about it yet. All they knew was that their hearts felt lighter when they were together, and for now, that was enough. Days passed, and Ethan and Lyra's friendship grew stronger. They spent many afternoons together, sharing stories and exploring the palace gardens. Ethan enjoyed learning about the Elorian plants and animals, while Lyra listened carefully as he talked about Earth cities and people. One afternoon, as they sat beside a small pond, Lyra looked at Ethan and asked, "Do humans feel love the same way we do?" Ethan thought for a moment. "I think so. Love is when you care about someone very much and they make you happy." Lyra smiled softly. "That sounds beautiful. Sometimes I wonder if I will ever feel that." Ethan looked at her. "Maybe you already do." Lyra blushed and looked away, her silver hair falling over her face. Their peaceful time was soon disturbed by news from the palace. The queen had heard about Lyra spending so much time with a human. She was worried. In Eloria, it was rare for a royal to be so close with someone from another world. Lyra received a message to come to the queen's chambers. She looked nervous but did not tell Ethan. When she returned, her smile was faint. "Is everything okay?" Ethan asked. Lyra nodded. Slowly, "Mother is worried. She says I should be careful about my friends." Ethan felt his heart sink. He did not want to cause trouble for Lyra. "I do not want to make anyone unhappy." Lyra reached for his hand. "You have done nothing wrong. I just need to be careful." The next day, Ethan heard whispers again. This time, they were louder. Some Elorians said he was taking Lyra away from her duties. Others said humans could not understand Elorian ways. Ethan tried to ignore them, but it was hard. He felt like an outsider, even though Lyra treated him like an equal. One afternoon, Lyra invited Ethan to a special ceremony. It was a tradition for young Elorians to show respect to their friends and family. She wanted him to see what was important. To her people at the ceremony, Ethan saw many Elorians dressed in colorful robes. They moved gracefully, singing soft songs. Lyra explained that this was how they honored each other. After the ceremony, Lyra turned to Ethan. "Do you understand why my people are afraid?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, they want to protect you." Lyra smiled sadly. "I wish they could see you as I do." Ethan squeezed her hand. "Maybe in time they will." Over the next weeks, Ethan and Lyra met in secret places. They walked in hidden gardens and talked under the stars. Lyra told Ethan about her fears of being alone in her world. Ethan shared his hopes of one day bringing peace between Earth and Eloria. One night, while they were sitting on a rooftop, Lyra looked at Ethan seriously. "I want to ask you something." Ethan's heart beat faster. "You can ask me anything." Lyra took a deep breath. "If I asked you to date me, to be my partner, what would you say?" Ethan was shocked. He stared at her, unsure what to say. His mind raced with questions. Could he date an alien princess? Would it be accepted? But then he looked into her eyes and saw hope and trust. Slowly he smiled. "I would say yes." Lyra's face lit up with joy. "Thank you, Ethan. You make my heart feel calm." From that night, their friendship changed. They became something more, but still new and fragile. They kept their promise to be careful, knowing the world was watching. Ethan felt happy, but also scared. He did not know what the future held, but with Lyra by his side, he was ready to face it. The next morning, Ethan woke up feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The night before, when Lyra had asked him to be her partner, had changed everything. He wondered how this new secret would affect their friendship and their lives on Lora. At breakfast, Ethan saw Lyra waiting for him near the garden gate. She smiled warmly and took his hand. They walked together under the tall trees, enjoying the soft light of the morning sun. Suddenly, an urgent message arrived at the palace. The royal gardeners found a strange disease spreading among the plants. The flowers and crops were wilting, and no one knew why. The plants were important because they were the main food source for the people of Eloria. The queen called for the best scientists and healers to find a cure. Lyra was worried and asked Ethan if he knew anything that could help. Ethan thought about the plants he had studied back on Earth. He remembered a lesson about a natural medicine made from a special kind of moss. Maybe something like that could work on Elorian plants too. He told Lyra about his idea. At first, she was unsure, but she trusted him. Together, they went to the scientists and explained the plan. The scientists were surprised but willing to try. For days, Ethan worked with the Elorian healers. He showed them how to prepare the moss medicine and how to apply it to the sick plants. Lyra stayed close by, helping and encouraging everyone. Slowly, the plants began to recover. The flowers regained their color and the crops started to grow again. The people of Eloria were grateful. They saw Ethan not just as a visitor, but as someone who had helped save their world. The queen invited Ethan to the palace hall. She looked at him with new respect. "You have done a great service, Ethan. Your knowledge has helped us in a time of need." Ethan felt proud but also humble. "I only wanted to help." Lyra stood beside him, her eyes shining. "Ethan is a true friend to Eloria." The news spread quickly. Many Elorians began to change their minds about humans. They saw that humans could be kind, smart, and brave. After the crisis, Ethan and Lyra had more freedom to be together. They walked in the gardens, talked about their dreams, and enjoyed each other's company. One evening, under the soft glow of the moons, Lyra looked at Ethan and said, "I want the world to know that I care for you." Ethan smiled and took her hand. "I want that too." Though they knew challenges would come, Ethan and Lyra felt ready to face the future together. Their hearts were strong and their bond was unbreakable. The days after the plant crisis felt different for Ethan and Lyra. The people of Eloria were starting to accept Ethan more, but not everyone was happy. Some in the royal court whispered that a human should not be so close to the princes. Others said it could cause problems between worlds. Despite this, Lyra was brave. She wanted to show everyone that her friendship with Ethan was real and important. One evening, she invited Ethan to the royal palace garden. The air was cool, and the stars shone bright. Lyra looked at Ethan with hope. "I want to ask you something important," she said softly. Ethan's heart beat faster. "You can ask me anything." Lyra took a deep breath. "Will you date me? Will you be my partner?" Ethan was surprised, but his answer came from his heart. "Yes, I want to be with you." Lyra smiled, her eyes shining like the stars. "I am happy." From that moment, their relationship became more than friends. They spent time together, learning about each other's worlds. Ethan taught Lyra about Earth music and stories. Lyra showed Ethan Elorian dances and traditions, but with their closeness, challenges came. The queen called Lyra to her chambers. She spoke with concern. "Lyra, you must be careful. Your people may not understand this," the queen said. Lyra nodded. "I know, mother, but I am happy with Ethan." The queen sighed but did not stop her daughter. She wanted Lyra to be safe and happy. Word spread and some Elorians questioned the relationship. Ethan faced more whispers and cold looks. Yet he stayed strong for Lyra. One day, a group of nobles invited Lyra to a council meeting. They spoke about the future and traditions. Lyra stood up for Ethan and humans. We must open our hearts and minds. Friendship between our worlds can bring peace, she said firmly. The nobles were surprised by her courage. Some nodded in agreement. Ethan felt proud of Lyra. Together, they began to change old beliefs. At night, Ethan and Lyra would walk in the palace gardens hand in hand. They talked about their dreams, hoping for a future where humans and Elorians lived as friends. Their love was new and fragile, but it was strong enough to face the world. The days passed, and Ethan and Lyra's relationship became more open. The people of Eloria were curious. Some were happy, others were unsure. But most wanted to see what would happen between the human and the princess. One morning, the queen invited Ethan to the royal hall. The room was large and filled with many important people. Ethan felt nervous but calm. The queen looked at him with kind eyes. "Ethan," she said softly, "you have shown great respect and kindness to our world. I want to know your intentions." "For my daughter," Ethan took a deep breath. "Your Majesty, I care for Lyra very much. I want to be honest and respectful. I hope to build a future where our worlds can be friends." The queen smiled. "That is wise. I will give my blessing. But remember, this path will not be easy." Ethan nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty." News of the queen's blessing spread quickly. Many Elorians were surprised but hopeful. Some from Earth also heard and felt proud. Lyra and Ethan felt a new strength. They knew challenges would come, but they would face them together. They continued to learn about each other's worlds. Ethan showed Lyra pictures and stories from Earth. Lyra shared her culture and dreams. One day, they visited a festival in the city. People danced and sang. Ethan held Lyra's hand and they laughed with joy. The festival was full of light and hope. As the sun set, they stood on a hill looking at the stars. Lyra smiled at Ethan. "Thank you for being by my side." Ethan smiled back. "Thank you for trusting me." Their hearts were full of love and promise. They knew their journey was only beginning, but they would walk it together. The human and the alien princes had found each other. Their story was one of hope, courage, and the power of love to bring worlds together.